What's up, everybody? It's another Dog Nation Wednesday night. That means before the Hedges. I don't know what I'm doing here with like the fireside chat going on, but I try to get like a different view since we all have to do this from our homes and not in the studio. But I try to give a different look each night. But you guys don't really care at all about where I'm broadcasting from or what the backdrop looks like. You guys want to know what's going on with the latest in Georgia recruiting. And tonight we have a very special guest. The most recent Georgia football commitment is in the house with us tonight. Everybody out there on Facebook, I want you guys to join me in giving a really hearty welcome to Pearce Spurlin III. I think he's 6'6" and maybe some change. Pearce Spurlin III committed to Georgia out of the 2023 class a little while back. I think it was about maybe 10 days ago, something like that. Pearce, live with us tonight from some of the most beautiful country in the world in South Walton on the panhandle of Florida. Pearce, what's up, buddy? How you doing tonight?
Not much. Doing well. Thank you for having me.
Pearce, now, most people that are on our feeds and chats, they know what we do. I'm going to ask you typical reporter Q&A stuff for about 5 minutes. So if you guys got a question for Pearce, drop it in the Facebook feed below, and we'll be sure to make sure we get it to him. Because we won't take too long tonight, because I know he's working on that 4.0, maintaining that 4.0 in his sophomore year at South Walton. The guy came from Walton High School, just transferred down there, so you know he knows about good grades and rigorous academics. But Pearce, I guess the first thing I want to ask is, a lot of folks will probably sit there and go, "All right, Jeff, all right, bro, this is a 2023 kid. What are the chances that he's a Georgia Bulldog 2 or 3 years from now, and I'm going to see him in Sanford Stadium?" Pearce, how would you answer that question? I guess you go back a long ways with the Dogs.
I just want to say I've been a Georgia fan and since I was probably born, and I've grown up going to Georgia games and just cheering for the Dogs. I want to say I'm 100% committed, and I plan on being 100% committed throughout high school. And I just can't wait to play and get up in Athens.
Pearce, where are you at height and weight right now? I know folks want to know that. You continue to grow and expand. Where are you at right now with that?
I'm 6'6", 218 pounds right now.
So what makes a 6'6" dude like yourself just feel ready to go ahead and commit? I mean, you got your offer this summer, and to me, I remember when I talked to you a couple of times, I was like, dude, this guy's probably not going to take a long time and dawdle or dilly-dally in the hole. You seem like you were on a quick path to be a Bulldog. What was it that led you to pull the trigger and decide to be a Georgia Bulldog already in your sophomore year?
I'm strong-willed, and I just want to, like my family, they really helped me along the journey. My coaches, for sure. I don't know. I just felt like from God I was ready to make the decision. I know it was early, but I just felt ready for my family, my faith.
What was the fit there? Because I know you've probably dreamed your whole life of kind of like Stetson Bennett, actually, running down on that field, making a big play, sitting in your seats. I think you guys have had season tickets for forever. Folks, this is a third-generation Georgia Bulldog. But for you, what was the fit like besides Georgia? You probably had to see what you wanted in a tight ends coach in Todd Hartley, and then the offensive scheme Georgia was going to basically maximize a player that's going to be a flex end, a guy that can put his hand on the ground, but also work outside a lot and make a lot of safeties look silly. What was that fit like for Georgia for you?
Yeah, so I just talked to Coach Monken and Coach Hartley, and we just talked about like where they're taking the position at Georgia and how it's going to be such an impact and how it's going to be really like different and a mismatch within the game. And they said they just want to like change the position, and I think I can do that at the University of Georgia.
Now, Pearce is actually going to be at the game tonight, but it's weird because recruits can't be in the stands. But like we said earlier in the broadcast, he's got family season tickets, so he's going to be going in as Joe Bulldog fan, even though he's a Joe Dog commitment. I mean, first off, what did you think about the game last week? That had to be very exciting for a guy that's going to put on the red and black one day.
It was awesome. We were so excited to watch the game, and I was excited to see what we were going to do against a test like Auburn, and we went. And it was awesome to watch. I'm going to be a part of that one day.
Pearce, while we're chatting, I think the folks at home are getting a chance to watch games 1 through games 3 for you at South Walt. Take us through what
Sure.
you're doing there. What do you think? What do you think this offense, and what do you think your sophomore season is an upgrade about what you've put on film before?
My team is it's really different, and we're running the air raid offense, so we're throwing 45, 50 times a game, and I've already had like twice double as many yards, double as many receptions, double as many touchdowns. I mean, my stats has been a lot better, and I don't know. I feel like the system just fits me and my skill set because I'm out wide. I can move around, and my quarterback's he's a threat. So I mean, if you want to drop 8, we're just going to run a draw. I mean, just fits perfectly, and it's great play calling, and we're just a really good offensive team. So yeah.
So I want folks to know this about you and your game. Yeah, he's a sophomore. Yeah, he's probably going to be about 240 when he's at Georgia. That's probably 27 more pounds. But I think you play with a certain edge to your game. Can you describe that? I mean, I think you love the competition. I think you love hearing a DB get up in your face and say, huh, look who I got right here. Like, you like that competition. I think that's some of that stuff that makes George Pickens a great player is he likes to play a little
Yeah.
fiery, a little hot tempered. Is that the way you describe your game as well?
Yeah, I just want to bring like a different edge to the game. I think I always have since I was little. I mean, playing several different sports is kind of what you learn to do. I don't know. I mean, I just love the competitiveness. I mean, I just love playing. I just love like it's kind of one on one. Whether that's what I do, and I mean, it's just man on man, and that's what I love.
Now, Pearce, everybody's going to know about this. One of the greatest all time receivers in Georgia history. He's actually been training you for more than a minute now. Tell me about how a guy like Terrence has helped you get even better. You must feel that you're really advanced in your training right now to be a high school sophomore.
Coach Terrence really changed everything for me. Like in my freshman year, I was just like, I don't know, I was good, but I was kind of raw, and I had a lot to work on. And Coach Terrence just took my game to another level, and he's also just made me a lot better person, teach me how to work hard and be responsible. But he took my game to a whole different level for sure.
Pearce, when you hear from Monken and Hartley, you said it earlier, I guess, in so many words, but what is Georgia doing with the tight end position? How will it be different? How will it be dynamic by the time you get there?
So I've talked to them, and I mean, as y'all seen, the 2 tight end sets. I mean, moving them out, moving them in. It's just going to get more advanced from there, and that's what I've talked to them about. Changing the tight end position, getting away from the hand in the dirt, and just moving forward to like what you see in present day like football. I mean, lined up wide, going against corners, safeties, and also like moving around, putting your hand in dirt if you need to. But that's just what like I think Georgia's moving forward to, and I think I can do that.
Pierce, you got an all-time favorite Georgia game or an all-time favorite dog? I mean, who was the guy that you had the jersey of that you really, really wore to death?
So when I was little, I loved Herschel Walker. I loved Herschel Walker. He was like why I started playing football for sure. But I don't know. I was at the North Carolina Georgia game when Nick Chubb scored that touchdown in the dome. I was also at the Georgia Clemson game, like Nick Chubb's freshman year when Todd Gurley was there. That was a fun game for sure. But yeah.
And you actually had the honor of meeting Herschel a couple of times, but even last year as a recruit, what was that like? There's a big viral picture from, I guess, when you got your Georgia offer and then after you committed, you're hanging out with Herschel on the sidelines. That has to be a lifetime moment for you.
Yeah, it was for sure. It's just kind of different. Like when I was little, I was just meeting him as a little kid. And then I met him at the sideline of Georgia game. It's kind of crazy. It meant a lot. It was just awesome. He's a really good guy.
What's it like when you're 4 inches taller than your hero, man? What's that like? That's got to be a little weird.
Yeah, it's weird. I'm just kind of getting used to it, but yeah. Yeah.
So folks, another really good reason to have Pearce on tonight is I don't know if you guys know about it, but I've been covering Georgia recruiting for more than a minute now. I think I go back to the 2015 cycle now. And I've never been around a group of kids, not even the 2017s, not even the 2019s. I've never been around a group of young men that are already like that network. Folks, there's a 2023 group chat of guys in the state and around the Southeast. I think I've been told it goes 30 names deep. And believe me, I'm not going to throw in names out here, but when it sounds like there is a dedicated group of young men that if I had to put a Coca-Cola on it, I would probably say, if I was a betting man, there's a lot of guys in that group chat that'll probably wind up Georgia Bulldogs, like Pearce Spurling is right there. And folks, they're doing this thing is the summer before their sophomore years. They're already as organized as some guys are, like a year before they sign. That's how organized these guys are. Pearce, what's it like being a part of that? Do I got a good read on that? That these are a lot of guys that maybe want to play together, that want to chase championships, that maybe they might all bond together and just go win something and go win somewhere a lot at the same place.
You're pretty spot on about that. I got added to them. I think I got added to that group chat late July, and I talked to some of them. I talk to them every day, and like we're always just talking about if we play together. I mean, it's just awesome getting to know those guys and getting to recruit them too. Yeah.
I mean, there's guys from, I think, the state of Alabama, the state of Florida, the state of Georgia. I think there's a couple more states that I won't name, though. But like
Minnesota, too. It goes everywhere.
Yeah, and it's like Trayon Webb was the first one to commit, folks. And in this day and age, Trayon committed a long time ago. And for Georgia to take, remember Hartley, I don't know if you know the story about Mr. Webb or not, Pearce, but Hartley offered him when he was I believe, a rising eighth grader this spring of his seventh grade year, a rising eighth grader at Trinity when he was still at Miami. And that's how long ago Hartley offered Trayon Webb. And now he's kind of like the guy that got it started in the class, and he remains committed. He's told me running backs he wants to play with, offensive linemen he wants to play with. Mm-hmm. I'm telling you, to me, what's the best class so far in Georgia history? The 2018 class and maybe the 2019 class in terms of 5-stars that are still there. Everybody knows Richard LeCount's class was the one that got it started under Kirby. Folks, mm-hmm. Right now, I know it's early. And even Pearce, I'm sure you can weigh in this too, because you know Georgia history about as well as anybody on this feed. It just feels like there are more dudes there that could join Georgia. Matt, it might be the biggest class Kirby Smart has ever signed. I know we're 2 years away from that, but the groundwork is kind of already being laid.
Yeah, I know some dudes for sure that are serious about it, and we could do some serious damage. I mean, the best class I can think of was like George Pickens, Dominic Blaylock, Nolan Smith. That class is pretty nasty. But I think we can I think it would be like that for sure. We have the dudes for sure now on the relationships.
Pearce, does it seem to you like, I mean, there's a lot of guys that I think have a maturity level like yourself that where you're like, why fool around? I know what I want. This is what I want. And I'm going to go for it. I mean, usually you're at an age where guys just want to take pictures and pics and get Instagram followers. Really, that's what, the sophomore year of recruiting is all about. But it seems like there's a lot of mature, dedicated dudes in your group.
Yeah, it's been different for us too because of COVID. So like, I mean, it's been really different. Recruiting's been different, but I know what I want and a lot of the dudes know what they want. And I don't know. We don't really mess around because, like, we know how much talent we can have. We know we could do with it. I mean, we just work hard, put our head down.
You guys got a question? Drop it in the feed. I got one more, Pearson. This might be as hard in the pain as I will go with my questions here. But if you could be the guy that could wave a magic wand and get 2 or 3 guys, maybe 3 guys to join you in that class, who would those guys be? If you could have your draft picks, your dream team guys to add to the class. Now I know I'm probably going to make 25 other guys in that chat room, in that text thread a little mad, but who are the guys that you think Georgia has to build the class around?
You got to say Justin for sure. I mean, we're both Georgia legacies from Georgia. I mean, that's just got to happen. Tony Mitchell, he's really different. He's really good for sure. Dylan Londrin from Brookwood up 4, like 7-on-7 and stuff. We could do some serious. Caden Lee, train with him too. Yeah, I mean, if we can get some of those guys, Michael Daughtery from Grayson, we could really do something.
So he's named let me see, you've named a wide receiver from Metro Atlanta. You've named a safety from Metro Atlanta, a quarterback from Metro Atlanta. I mean, you're kind of covering the gamut, but also that Tony Mitchell, he's a nice-looking defensive back out of Thompson High in Alabama. That's a footprint. Georgia's going to have to go in and snatch him away from Auburn and Alabama and LSU there.
Yeah, he's really good. If we can get him, I'm trying to think who else. Arch Manning. I mean, he'd be really good.
Whoa.
Peter Woods, who's friends with Tony at Thompson. If we get Peter Woods, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of players. Justice Haynes from Blessed Trinity. I've known Justice since I was probably in sixth grade. I met Justice. We've been playing since then. Kind of grew up together playing sports. I mean, he's a Georgia legacy too, and he's top running back in the country. I mean, imagine like all of that. That'd be crazy.
That's already three legacies that could be in the class.
Yeah.
And there's a bunch of offensive linemen, some in Florida, some in Alabama. I mean, a lot of defensive linemen. I mean, there's just a lot of dudes coming around here. Pearce, did you have a favorite game you've been to as a Georgia Bulldog?
Probably when Georgia played Clemson, when Todd Gurley was there and Nick Chubb was a freshman. The game was awesome. Yeah. When I was really little, I went to the Arizona State game when AJ Green blocked that kick, blocked the punt, or I think it was field goal actually when he blocked the field goal. But yeah, those are probably two vivid memories of mine.
Pearce, let's tell this story. It's different for every young man. What was it like for you when you wanted to commit? Did you go through Hartley when you talked to him, and then you talked to – what was that like when you're telling folks that I want to be a Georgia Bulldog and they're all in?
So I talked to Coach Hartley on Sunday, and then I talked to Coach Smart on Monday, and then I announced Wednesday. But it's just awesome talking to those guys. I mean, just having genuine conversations about like a very important decision, and it was just awesome.
Did you say something like, hey, I want to be a dog, or I want to commit to the G? Do you remember what you said?
Yeah, I was on the phone with Coach Hartley, and I was like, I think you know how I'm calling. He's like, yes, sir. He's like, let's make it official. I was like, yes, sir. I want to commit.
Pearce, I got a question. How was your speed, and are you an across the middle or a downfield route running type of tight end? Question from Chad Buchanan.
Obviously, you think I'm a deep threat, and I am. That's like what I've always been doing since I was like really little. But like as my game's evolved, I think I run really like good slants, and my speed's like deceptive where I can get behind the safeties when I'm running post. I mean, see it on my highlight reels. I've done that more than I have in the past. But I don't know, as my game evolves, my routes are just going to get like a more variety of routes for sure.
Pearce, Joel Moody wants to know, how did you get up with Coach Edwards? Did you travel? How'd you get linked up with Terrence to get better?
So I went through the FBU camps, and Coach Terrence always used to coach there, and that's like how I met him. And then we just like kind of stayed in touch, but not really. And I was like texting him after basketball season was over, asking him like come work out. And then I just kind of made it an everyday thing, and we just worked really hard.
Somebody's saying you've got good parents to teach you about the GOAT and Herschel Walker already at a young age. Lots of feedback. People are talking about a lot of things. Pearce, being a longtime Georgia fan, season ticket holder, you've probably been to, I don't know, 40 games in your life, maybe even more so. Who's the team you can't wait to beat? Who would you consider Georgia's biggest rival, or the team where you're on the field and you're competing and you're going to go, whoa, this is what it's all about?
I don't know, Georgia Tech, Florida. I mean, those are two like huge rivalries, and I've grown up watching those rivalries and always dreamed of being there. So those two for sure. Yeah.
You got a number you would want to wear, Georgia? You got a favorite number in mind?
19, because that was my number like all throughout my life, or 8. I mean, I like 8. I'm wearing that right now, and I like 8. But if I'm playing with Don Blaylock, I'm not gonna be able to wear 8, but that'd be cool because we're in the same high school and we're family friends. But yeah.
Colby Curry wants to know, what's the number one thing you've learned from Terrence technique-wise to better yourself?
It's all footwork. He works a lot of getting out of your breaks, getting off the line. We used to do a lot of one-on-ones with like Justin Miller, like defensive back academy, and we used to do a lot of one-on-ones. So I would be going against guys like Nathaniel Wiggins or Kenai Walker, and I was a freshman and they were older, and they just got me a lot better. So, yeah, and getting out of your breaks is really important, Coach Terrence.
Yep. Working yourself open. That's the most important thing. Daniel Lewis wants to know, what's your current 40 time? It's 6 feet, 6 inches. He can go. Wait till you tell him this story. Wait till he tells you this story, guys.
I run like a 4.62. Highest I've ever ran was like a 4.6, 1.15. I worked on my speed with Brett Cooper. He's out of Roswell, Georgia. I worked with him really hard over like quarantine stuff. But yeah, so that's where I beat up.
One of our viewers is having fun. They said they would do some seriously sketchy stuff to somehow pull Arch Manning. That's funny because that's as classy as a family. That's as classy as a family as it's going to get. And I don't think that family is going to need anything sketchy. They're not going to make their decision on anything sketchy.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, for sure.
They've got enough resources where they don't have to worry about anything in that family, the Manning family. Daniel Lewis wants to know, he thinks 6'6", 245 or 250. Is that the body build that you're probably targeting to retain that speed as a college football player?
Yes, sir. That's what I want to be. I don't want to get too heavy where I can't run routes, but I also want to be at a weight where I can block. And that's what I'm thinking. And I think that's what Coach Hartley and all of them are thinking too.
So, Pearce, a lot of people see the skill level and they see your size and they're like, okay, this guy's going to catch 30, 40 passes a game. But at the same time, the position will still require some level of blocking. How do you feel about, mixing it up inside like you see Darnell doing it right now? How do you feel about being physical in the run game as well?
I mean, I love the physicality. I mean, I like to block. I just like being physical, and if that's what the team needs, I'll do that. I mean, I'm not just a pass catcher. So,
Pearce, last question for you. You got a prediction for the Georgia-Tennessee game? We won't hold you to it or anything, but what do you think in there? What type of game do you see on Saturday?
I'm thinking 35-14.
Wow, that's a very generous, and that's a very aggressive prediction right there. That guy, you can tell he's got some red and black.
Or 28-14. I'll give 28-14. Give Tennessee some
credit. 28-14. Yeah. Give him some credit. I guess I think I had the game at I think I have it at 24-7. That's where I have the game at, something like that. That defense, man, that defense is only better than it was last year.
Mm-hmm.
Pearce, hey, man, I think you got maybe that 4.0 to work on in biology and world history and stuff to get to. But, hey, man, for everybody here on Dog Nation and before the Hedges on Wednesday night, we always try to get the commits on. And, hey, Pearce, from all of us, man, it is great having you on tonight, and thanks for making some time.
Thank you so much for having me. It was awesome being on.
All right, Pearce, take it easy, buddy.
Sure. Now, thank you.
Yes, sir. Now, guys, he mentioned Justin. Now, I want to tell you about Justin Benton. That is Justin Benton, number 99 for Newton High School. Got to catch up with him on Friday after the McEachern game. It was a tough loss, an 8-7 last minute kind of loss. McEachern goes for 2. They beat Newton, but I got to catch up with Justin Benton. And you guys want to watch this interview. It's a really quick interview. It shows you a little bit about Justin. You see some clips there, but also you get to learn a little bit about what he was doing on the day Pearce Spurlin III committed to Georgia. You guys are going to like this one. Check it out right now. Well, okay. We're going to wait for the second on that. We're going to come back to that in a little bit. But right now, we've got a chance to jump into one of the things we always do right now. That would be our Dog Nation top targets. We go over those every week. Those are the guys that are we see as the kind of the most pertinent names to know in terms of mutual interest between Georgia and also the recruit. This week, not going to be a lot of deviation from last week's list, but this week we start with number 10, Deontay Thornton. Deontay Thornton is a 6'4.5", 215-pound, 215-pound wide receiver out of Maryland. He's at number 10 on this week's list. Number 9, Donovan Edwards, the big running back, multi-skilled running back out of West Bloomfield, Michigan. I think he's a guy that's still going to wait and try and take some of those independent visits. Number 8, Schmile Munden Jr. Did you guys see the story on DogNation.com today about Schmile? He talked timelines. He went through all 5 of his schools. I thought it was very interesting in the story. Schmile told me that, it's really just a process. It's really not hard. He doesn't feel rushed or doesn't feel forced. He's just kind of going through his progressions on everything and trying to get everything in line. And it sounds to him that maybe about November or so is when he'll really start thinking about his decision. He does want to enroll early. He doesn't plan on doing it at an All-American game. He wants to do it at his school. Schmile Munden Jr. rated as the nation's number 1 linebacker on 24/7 Sports, number 2 linebacker on the 24/7 Sports composite. His final 5 is Auburn, Georgia, Florida, Tennessee, and LSU. He's been to all those schools on a game day except for LSU. He's been to most of those schools about 2 or 3 times, and he told me he doesn't even need any sort of further review or some of those other self-guided visits to figure out his decision. He thinks he's seen enough. Number 7 is Tyrion Ingram Dawkins out of Gaffney, South Carolina. Reports are out there, and I do think that Tyrion Ingram Dawkins out of Gaffney will at least be in Athens this weekend. I don't know if he'll be inside the stadium or not, but Tyrion Ingram Dawkins is a guy that could be making his decision in the month of late October, mid-November, something like that. Number 6 is Mason Smith out of Houma, Louisiana. He's got his season started. We've written a lot about the package deal there with Corey Foreman. Those guys are say they're going to play together, and it sure sounds like they're going to play together. Of course, those guys did take another trip to LSU for the Mississippi State loss as well. Number 5, Xavier Sorey Jr., another all.
Where are you at with that now? I noticed your buddy Pearce, a guy in the 2023 class, commits to Georgia. How do you feel about, where you're at? You still got to have a pace to your recruiting, although one of your good friends already made his decision. Yeah. Where do you think you're at right now?
I mean, I feel great. I'm just trying to focus on football season right now, but as far as Georgia goes, I feel great. My boy Pearce committed. He was on the phone with me when he actually dropped it on Twitter and things like that. So Pearce, he's a great dude, and Georgia going to get a great tight end in Pearce. So, I mean, my love for Georgia run deep. My dad played there. So, I mean, I'm just trying to weigh out my options right now and just try to focus on football season more.
I think you might be a young man. You sound very purposeful. Maybe
he's still about a month away from making his decision. Number 3 is the aforementioned Corey Foreman, the nation's number 1 prospect, the big defensive end out of California. And for him, the thing we've been keyed on is that Corey wants to see pressure. He wants to see big seasons from guys like Nolan Smith and Adam Anderson and Jermaine Johnson and Azeez Ojulari. I don't know if you guys saw a recent tweet we put out. According to the official stats of the University of Georgia, the Bulldogs have 52 quarterback hurries so far through 2 games. 52 quarterback hurries through 2 games. Georgia was averaging about 17 hurries a game last year. So this year, even facing a quality schemed-up offensive line, even facing mobile quarterback in Bo Nix, Georgia's quarterback hurries are up about 53% over the 2019 team, which still had a very salty defense in its own right. Number 2 is Tyrion Arnold. We wrote about him recently on DogNation.com. The 2 things he likes about Georgia the most, one of those is Kirby Smart, the way he relates to Kirby, the businessman, the savvy, the efficiency, and the way he runs his program. The other thing is just Tyrion told me he thinks about that truck bed and the chance to be on the same team potentially with a Mason Smith, a Corey Foreman, and a Marius Mims, a Xavier Sorey Jr., and a Brock Vandegrift. All those potential NFL first-rounders really excites him being a part of that same class. And the number 1 target on this week's top targets list, Marius Mims, he is set to make his decision next Wednesday. That's his birthday. It'll be at 3:30 p.m. It will be live on all our DogNation.com streaming platforms, on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube. That will all be live there as well. 3:30 on Wednesday is when he makes his decision. That is a huge one. Let's go through. I want to look at one other quick thing right now. Let's look at these expected or announced decision timelines for Georgia's priority targets. Kamari Lassiter is still to be determined. That's the very strong cornerback, defensive back.
Where are you at with that now? I noticed your buddy Pearce, a guy in the 2023 class, commits to Georgia. How do you feel about, where you're at? You still got to have a pace to your recruiting, although one of your good friends already made his decision.
Yeah.
Where do you think you're at right now?
I mean, I feel great. I'm just trying to focus on football season right now. But as far as Georgia goes, I feel great. My boy Pearce committed. He was on the phone with me when he actually dropped it on Twitter and things like that. So Pearce, he's a great dude. And Georgia gonna get a great tight end in Pearce. So I mean, my love for Georgia run deep. My dad played there. So I mean, I'm just trying to weigh out my options right now and just try to focus on football season more.
I think you might be a young man. You sound very purposeful. Maybe you just want to wait and see a lot more before you make your decision. Is that sort of the vibe you got right now?
It kind of broke my heart when they extended that period, but yeah, I'm just trying to wait and see. I want to sort of weigh my options, but of course Georgia's one of my top choices.
I guess Pearce is working on you already.
Yeah.
What is his message so far?
Man, he's just like, come home. I mean, come home. His dad. I think his people went there. My people went there. That's his big thing.
So he had you on the phone when he dropped it on Twitter, right?
Yeah.
Can you recreate that for me? Is he like, hey boy, watch me do this right here?
Yeah. I mean, he was turned up when he did it. So I mean, he was turned. I mean, he told me you need to come on and do it too. So I mean, it was a good day. I'm glad UGA got that commitment.
You haven't been tempted yet, have you?
Nah. A little bit.
Want to come back, guys. You guys saw the great chat, the great conversation there with Pearce Spurling III. We kind of focused on the 2023 class and the potential there. One of the guys he mentioned that he has to play with right now would be Justin Benton out of Newton High School in Covington, Georgia. Justin Benton, like Pearce, is a Georgia legacy. Philip Benton, his dad, actually played at Georgia. Got to catch up with Justin Benton after the McEachern game. It was a tough loss last Friday night, but he shared a couple of things, including one very interesting thing about what he was doing at the moment Pearce Spurling III committed to Georgia. I think you'll like it. Let's check it out right now.
Where are you at with that now? I noticed your buddy Pearce, a guy in the 2023 class, commits to Georgia. How do you feel about, where you're at? You still got to have a pace to your recruiting, although one of your good friends already made his decision.
Yeah.
Where do you think you're at right now?
I mean, I feel great. I'm just trying to focus on football season right now. But as far as Georgia goes, I feel great. My boy Pearce committed. He was on the phone with me when he actually dropped it on Twitter and things like that. So Pearce, he's a great dude. And Georgia gonna get a great tight end in Pearce. So I mean, my love for Georgia run deep. My dad played there. So I mean, I'm just trying to weigh out my options right now and just try to focus on football season more.
I think you might be a young man. You sound very purposeful. Maybe you just want to wait and see a lot more before you make your decision. Is that sort of the vibe you got right now?
It kind of broke my heart when they extended that period, but yeah, I'm just trying to wait and see. I want to sort of weigh my options, but of course Georgia's one of my top choices.
I guess Pearce is working on you already.
Yeah.
What is his message so far?
Man, he's just like, come home. I mean, come home. His dad. I think his people went there. My people went there. That's his big thing.
So he had you on the phone when he dropped it on Twitter, right?
Yeah.
Can you recreate that for me? Is he like, hey boy, watch me do this right here?
Yeah. I mean, he was turned up when he did it. So I mean, he was turned. I mean, he told me you need to come on and do it too. So I mean, it was a good day. I'm glad UGA got that commitment.
You haven't been tempted yet, have you?
Nah. A little bit, but nah, not that much.
How excited did it seem like?
I just know it was excited because that's his dream school and that's where he wanted to play at. So I mean, everybody has dreams and that's one of his biggest dreams. So he accomplished that.
Last question:
Yes,
how lit was the group chat when that he dropped his commitment?
Hey, 2023 group chat was lit. I mean, they already got 2 commitments in that Georgia class. So I mean, I tweeted out yesterday somebody gonna have a special class, and that special class is gonna be probably Georgia.
Justin Benton, hey man, thank you for your time tonight.
Yes, sir. No problem.
Darius Brown got a hashtag turn inside the Dog Nation Facebook feed. I'm Jeff Sintel. Thanks, guys, for joining us back. We're back here on Before the Hedges on dognation.com. Wasn't that interesting interview there with Justin Benton? First of all, really like that kid. High energy, high motor. You see the way he plays. Got some good clips of him as well. But wasn't that unique? And wasn't that a moment right there for Dog Nation to ponder? He was on the phone with Pearce Spurling when Sperling dropped the commitment tweet to choose Georgia. That's very, very interesting as well. So that we kind of talked up a lot of things about the 2023 class with Pearce. Sure appreciate him having us on. And, speaking of talking up things that, are in our future, well, what about your pretty near future? That would be getting a pantry full of those good groceries from Kroger. Go online, get your click list ready, pull into your spot. Kroger is a longtime partner of Before the Hedges. We do appreciate that relationship and everything they allow us to bring to you guys on DogNation.com, especially on Before the Hedges for 5 years going strong now. I think of that fast food sign that we've been talking about recruiting over, who knows, probably I think we're closing on at least 500,000 viewers served at least. I mean, we probably average 30,000 views on a lot of our Before the Hedges shows when you can count the Facebook audience and the YouTube audience. And, that's probably 48 or 49 of those a year times 5 years now. Probably over 1 million views right now in terms of Before the Hedges and what we've been able to show in terms of Georgia recruiting and talk about for these last 5 years. But as always, brought to you by those good folks at Kroger. Let's hear from them right now.
We'll get back to the show in just a moment, but first, a quick word from Kroger. Kroger has made shopping for the groceries and household essential items that you need even easier by offering free pickup. Just shop online, choose a pickup time convenient for you, and Kroger will carefully pick out your order and bring it to your vehicle when you arrive. So the next time you're ready to shop at Kroger, take advantage of the free pickup. It's just another way that Kroger is fresh for everyone.
Peter Jeffrey Wilson, I'm giving you 5 stars for your powers of observation. First time in Before the Hedges history, we got a crackling fire going on right in the middle of a live broadcast right there. Fireside chat here on a wonderful October night. Hope everybody got to hit some golf balls sometime this week, maybe even today. Was a beautiful, beautiful day for that. But we've got a fire going on. Yep, Joel Moody, you're right. Now we've got a true fireside chat going on right now. Let's jump into all things Georgia recruiting. I still want to come back to. We went through our top
Joel Moody,
targets.
you're right.
You
Now we've got a true
fireside chat going on right now.
And then we got to
let's
see
jump into all
decision
things Georgia
timelines.
recruiting.
Let's look at the Georgia commitments.
I still want to
There's
come
still
back
15 of those.
we went
Still
through our
remain.
top
You're right. Now we've got a true
fireside chat.
I will tell you that they are
going on
no
right
changes
now.
in
And then we got
anybody's
let's
rating,
jump into all
decision
things
timelines.
Georgia
Let's
recruiting. Micah Morris, David Daniel, Dylan Fairchild, Brock Bowers. Look at that. You go Georgia, California. Bradenton, Florida, but that's Lavoisier Carroll, who's having a great season this year at IMG. Jonathan Jefferson, we wrote about him recently on Dog Nation, how blessed and thankful he was that his father, former heavyweight prize fighter, fought for the WBO title. Did you see that story where his father was able to fight off COVID? And kind of that timing was what kind of sparked and triggered his Georgia commitment. Great story there, especially since it has a wonderful ending with his father in good health. Jamon Dumas Johnson out of Maryland, Nugget Warren out of Lackawanna. You guys have visited with him on Before the Hedges on a Wednesday night. Jared Wilson, the same thing. Marlon Dean, Javon Bullard, and Jackson Weeks. Let's look at our last kind of program graphic slide for the night. That is your 2021 recruiting breakdown. 7 guys in state, 8 guys out of state, 12 Bulldog commitments in the SEC footprint, 3 Bulldog commitments beyond the SEC footprint. That's the way the 2021 class is shaping up right now. Definitely a lot of guys that are prioritized by this football staff in terms of there's 15 spots that are secured, maybe 8, maybe 9 that are going to be potentially have a chance to join the class. And those are a lot of top targets vying for those 9 slots right there. Moving right along, these are some of the tweets I saw, some of the online chatters that I wanted to make sure you guys got a chance to see. We're going to call them our tweets of the week. I want to start off with one from Julie Bowdwin. She is a reporter who covers the LSU Tigers for their rival site, I believe, TigerDetails.com. She was covering Mason Smith's game last Friday night. Look at this tweet right here with Mason Smith from Julie Bowdwin. This is his pregame attire. Now, we've seen a lot of this from Mason Smith already. He was at a beach with some Instagram photos. Look at his shirt that he's wearing while he's warming up there, representing the G. A lot of video tweets this week. I want to take you to several of them. I'm going to call for the one, probably one of my favorite tweets of the year, maybe if not the favorite tweet of the year for me, is the one from Dean Ratledge. That's Tate Ratledge's father. He's up there in the west end zone looking down at the game when his son Tate goes in at right guard, makes his first blocks for the University of Georgia. I love that view. I love that perspective. He said Mama was hyperventilating a little bit when Tate got his first snaps. Folks, Tate's an All-American. He's blocked plenty of dudes into the ground before, but look how special and look how wild that one moment was for everybody, no matter how good their son is, no matter how big their son is, how everybody's a little bit on edge, a little bit proud, and a lot blessed to see their son make his first steps across Sanford Stadium between the lines as a Georgia Bulldog. I thought that was just awesome. I want to point to this Georgia football tweet right here. You heard me say something about 52 quarterback hurries. I saw this tweet when the Georgia football account sent it out. And in my mind's eye, I directly went to, that's a tweet sent to Xavier Sorey, sent to Corey Foreman, sent to Mason Smith about hunting, about being dogs, about trying to show that the volume is turned all the way up on havoc, quarterback hurries, and pressure. Look at that, what Georgia was able to do through the first 2 games of the year. Nolan Smith, 1.5 sacks. Adam Anderson, 2 sacks. Azeez Ojulari, 2 sacks. Georgia, the way they're pacing right now, might have 3 or 4 guys above the 6 or 7 sack total for the year. If that happens, I think that would be great for Georgia's chances with a lot of those guys. I've got a pair of tweets I want to show you. These next 2 are kind of bookend tweets. The first of these is from Tyrion Arnold. That's the number 2 safety we discussed earlier. Tyrion is the guy that we wrote about him very recently. He drops his top 5 thing where he says his top 5 is coming soon. Tyrion Arnold makes that tweet. And then look at old Javon Bullard out of Baldwin High School. You guys got to meet him on Before the Hedges as well. Javon Bullard gets in there on that tweet, gives him a quote tweet, and he says, "What are you waiting for, Slime? Come on, man." There you go. You got Javon Bullard doing a little recruiting. But now look at this. Look at some reverse recruiting. I'm going to call your attention to 2 tweets from ING Academy. The first one is a touchdown here from Lavassier Carroll. I told you earlier that guy's having a great senior year for ING Academy. But look at this companion tweet from Tyler Booker. Tyler Booker is a junior offensive lineman at IMG Academy. Been to Georgia a bunch of times. 6'5.5", about 320. He's a offensive tackle at IMG Academy who also gets into some goal line sets and actually carries the ball as an I formation tailback. That's a story for another day, though. But look at this right here, where Tyler Booker picks Lavassier Carroll up after the touchdown, and he tweets out, this is not the Georgia commit, this is the Georgia target tweeting out, "We might have to recreate that on the college level too." Something to file away there for big Tyler Booker in the 2022 class. Speaking of the 2022 class, I want to show you this happy birthday tweet today from Georgia to 2020 defensive tackle, top 10 defensive tackle in the 2022, make sure I get that right, 2022 class out of Texas. His name is Bear Alexander, about 6'3.5", about 330. Big Bear Alexander. That guy looks appropriately named the nation's number 10 defensive tackle for now on the 24/7 Sports Composite. Interesting to see him getting a tweet that was quickly retweeted by a lot of luminaries like Kirby Smart, Scott Cochran, and some more members of the Georgia program. Busy night for tweets. We had a lot to get through right now. The last 2 are from this Centel guy that was on scene at McEachern Newton. Let's look at this first one. And this is the one about Nyland Green. Now you're going to see both. Maybe we don't get them in the right order here, but the first one I want to show you is a lot about Nyland Green. Look at Nyland Green right there. You see him warming up before the game. You see him catching some passes. Look at the length. Look at the stride. Look at the big paws. His hands are great ball skills for Nyland Green. But then look at this. I've never seen this, folks. He is throwing up Skittles. He's catching Skittles pregame. That is a tradition. He always has a Skittles fix before games. He does a backflip as his team runs through the sign in terms of the pregame entrance onto the field. He has a Chucky doll that he brings that with him every game. He can't go to a game without it. If he forgets it, if he doesn't have it in his backpack or his locker, he calls his folks and he makes sure they get him his Chucky doll. That is a superstition for Nyland Green. And now you think, pink arm sleeves, you think Chucky Doll, you think Skittles. This is a young man that's just having fun, and he is. But he's also a very stand-up guy. Look what he does right here at the end of that Newton game. Nyland Green dropped a pass where he was unable to reel it in. He'd been cramping bad that whole game. Nyland Green is also long snapper for Newton High School, among other things like a lockdown cornerback, a wide receiver, punt returner, kick returner, and all that. You see Nyland Green right there as well. Look at him consoling his teammate after he loses after he misses the 31-yard field goal, goes wide left, would have won the game for Newton. Look at him right there. Folks, I think that is what competitive sports and team sports is all about. Look at that, getting your brothers back. Look at that accountability. Loved that about Nyland Green when I saw him up close on Friday night. And finally, folks, our final tweet, I want to make sure you see this one as well. You want to talk about a guy bringing the wood and definitely showing that he could be a future enforcer for Georgia. Take a look at David Daniel there, the longtime senior commitment in the Georgia class. Look at him striking that potential receiver right there on the boundary right there. David Daniel. He will be a very physical in-the-box safety for the Georgia Bulldogs right there. There you have it. We kind of whipped through a lot of those right there, guys. Those are your tweets, that chatter of the week that caught our eyes to help keep you guys more informed about all things Georgia football recruiting. Hope you guys got to enjoy them, especially that Dean Ratledge tweet and those things that we noticed and we picked up about Nyland Green as well. Hope you guys enjoyed those. Guys, you got any questions? This is the time. You want to know anything about what's going on with Georgia football, some of this stuff that we talk about on the Dog Nation forum all the time, forum.dognation.com. Now's the time to give me a question. Pop me a question your way. Reminder, folks, this episode is on Facebook only tonight. We're having some issues with our distribution stream, getting that out to YouTube. That will be uploaded later to YouTube. This will also churn into a podcast on the Apple Podcast platform. Subscribe, give us a review, let us know what we can do to make this an even better program for you every Wednesday night. More guests, more information, more topics, more interviews, less interviews, more Q&A. Let us know what you want to see right there. But you can find Before the Hedges every week on after every week on, you can find it on SoundCloud, you can find it on Spotify, you can find it on the podcast platform as well. You can also catch it up on YouTube and Facebook as well. Let me see. You guys got anything what's on your mind tonight, Dog Nation? Chad Buchanan wants to know, where does Georgia feel they sit with Mims next week? To me, this is what I think with Amarius Mims. I think we spoke about this a little bit a couple of times on a couple of feeds, but to me, this has always kind of felt like Georgia, Tennessee, especially since Alabama's kind of loaded up with a lot of prize tackles as well. Georgia, Tennessee, that feels like to me would be the top two there. I'm going to make no bones about it. It would be a huge miss and a huge loss if Georgia can't secure that commitment from Amarius Mims. Joel Moody wants to know, does a second quarterback get meaningful snaps against Tennessee? Well, according to Kirby Smart, all the reps are great reps, especially those fourth quarter reps. Joel, I think you're going to see two quarterbacks in that game. Might see a little bit of a package thing there with Dwan and certain things, maybe the red zone or short yardage. But I think I think Stetson will play well, and I think he will get the job done again this week. And then I think Dwan Mathis will come in when the game, I believe, will no longer be a contested game some point in the fourth quarter. I want to know one thing from you guys right now. I'm working on a headline. I'm workshopping a headline. Did everybody see Stetson Bennett put a plug of tobacco in his mouth in the fourth quarter of the Georgia Auburn game? Of course you did. Everybody was watching. It went viral. It was trending. So I like that. You know why? Because I can imagine Stetson being a kid that always dreamed what his moment would be like. He's from South Georgia, from Blackshear, from Pierce County. But he got a chance to go from the mailman to red man. I think that is just a great story about a Southern dude realizing where he comes from. That's his moment. And I think that's Stetson Bennett being Stetson Bennett. What do you say in the South when you see something like that? I got tickled, I guess I would say, when I saw something like that. John William Adams wants to know which game is a bigger recruiting impact, Tennessee or Bama this year. Clearly Alabama. I think that is the one on everybody's mind. I think Georgia and Alabama will duke it out twice. Miriam Martin, Corbin, how are you, ma'am? Hope you're doing great as well. Jeff looks like a berry fella. Philip, what does that mean, man? A berry what? Johnny Webster got me a question about what's wrong with does Georgia, do I think Georgia beats Bama? I think the second game is, I think, when Georgia's best team will come out. I think a lot of the young guys, a lot of those young receivers need to get a little bit better. I think that first one is, you're also going to get a veteran, more experienced quarterback in Mac Jones with those receivers. Alabama is going to play at home. I think that'll be very interesting, the first one or the second one. James Crump wants to know about original, berry, or tropical. I think Shelton Tucker's wondering if something's up with my nose. I don't know what's up with my nose, but thanks for your concern. Lots of new questions piling in. Joel Moody, I do remember the 44-42 game between Liberty and Pearce with LeCount and Bennett were playing. Randy Payne. Oh, man. Sorry to hear that, Randy. My thoughts are definitely with you and your family from Tifton, Georgia. Man, that's just heartbreaking, Randy. I'm sorry to hear that. You lost such a treasured member of your family. She's in heaven now, I hope. That was a passing that it's going to be tough to find peace from that, Randy, but sorry to hear that for you as well. Tom Lavelle pointing out Stetson's post-game interview. Johnny Webster as well. Rodney White saw it. James Crump. Rodney White's thinking about some rain as well. Shelton Tucker. No, I don't think nobody punched me in the nose at all. All right, guys. It's been a night. I actually got another interview to get to tonight. They're popping up for me a lot on Wednesdays. Hope you guys have yourself a good time. Hope you enjoyed learning from Pearce Spurling, and you guys have a little seed planted in the back of your head about the 2023 recruiting class. It was fun catching up with Pearce. Sounds like that guy is as dedicated, determined, 100% all Georgia Bulldog there. Don't care if he's got 2.5 more years to go before he can sign or enroll at the University of Georgia. He did tell me, Pearce said that he's wanting to take up dual enrollment next year so he can make sure that he can graduate early and report to Georgia as early as he possibly can. From all you guys, from all of us at Dog Nation, I want to say thanks for watching us. Thanks for joining us on another Before the Hedges on a Wednesday night. I've enjoyed it. Sure hope you guys have enjoyed it as well. Thanks to Michael Carvel for all his production and technical expertise behind the scenes. Thanks to Kroger. Thanks to everybody for joining us in tonight. And also, Mr. Payne, I'm still really sorry for you and your family and your loss. And my thoughts are definitely with you tonight, as you guys have had to go through a tremendous ordeal. Guys, this is Jeff Sintel. We'll check you guys later. We'll talk to everybody later. We'll see you once again real soon on the pages of DogNation.com. Have a blessed night, everybody, tonight. Stay safe.